Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Guest today, Mary Sitorius. Mary, it's great to meet you. Thank you so much for coming on. Can you tell us, first of all, where you're calling in from and what you do for a living at 15 County Farms?
Okay. We're located in Brady, Nebraska, right smack in the middle of the country,
Awesome.
along the Platte River. We're located up on the kind of the south border of the Platte Valley. We were born and raised around Brady and went to high school in Brady. Worked here, and then we moved away. We spent about 25 years in eastern Colorado, and we finally got back home in December of 22. So when we come back, we had started raising some Idaho pasture pigs. Kind of liked them. They're nice. They're docile, kid friendly. The whole thing. Thought maybe we'll have a little good pork for us. Plus, maybe we can get some high quality pork, for some other people. But by the time we got back to Nebraska, we decided, this is kind of a bigger thing. Plus, we needed something to do. So we have a few more pigs, and so we've expanded our herd to have about 10 sows, and so we have lots of little pigs, medium-sized pigs, and big pigs. And so what we like to market locally if we can. And then we've also joined up with a marketing company, and we're starting to pursue the box meat market, getting going with that and event. And then we acquired a cow herd in December. Nice. So we've got lots of things to keep us busy.
Awesome.
And eventually, within a year or two, we hope to do the same thing with the cows, to do high quality protein source for people, either locally or box meat through the internet. We don't feed any antibiotics, no hormones. We feed non-GMO grains, and then we put up our own alfalfa. And so the critters are getting some really good diet, along with good husbandry, and a happy animal is going to give you a healthy meat product.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I love that story. I appreciate you sharing that. And yeah, so I guess you're kind of doing, just since it kind of started, just have something to do, and it seems like it's kind of blowing up. You're selling locally, selling online. How far will you actually ship this stuff from Nebraska? Will you ship coast to coast with things that people wanted in a box order?
We are really in the stages of getting started. So we have not actually shipped anything yet. We're going to concentrate, on United States, North America right now. Hopefully, eventually we could do something more, but we're hoping that that'll be a big enough market that, that we can supply and get people their good meat. We don't feed any soy, and so we use a pea protein base in our hog feed. And so it really makes your meat, it's really a good meat. It's a red meat. It's not pink like sometimes you see in a store.
That's pretty much all I've ever seen. So
yeah. Well, these pork chops look like a beefsteak.
That's awesome.
They're a good looking chop. So, and the bacon is phenomenal. There's three types of pigs. There's a conventional pig like we have now, a meat pig, and then there is a bacon pig like what we raise, and then there is a lard pig. And so the Idaho pasture pig is a composite breed of Berkshire, Duroc, and Cooney. And so these pigs, they have a real deep side on them, so you get some bacon that's really long, really good, and it's fantastic. It's phenomenal. We found some good processors that we're using, and they do a wonderful job for us. And so we've had some really good reports, back from our customers that have already purchased pigs locally. And we just want to get that out to more people, because everybody deserves to have a good pork chop or bacon or ham, whatever it is that they're looking for.
Yeah, I think it's so important. I mean, the more conversations I have with people, the more I'm learning that, consumers want to know where their meat and even their vegetables and things are coming from. I mean, people want that relationship with their kind of local suppliers, these kinds of things. I mean, I don't know how many times you have to hear these horror stories of stuff that goes into like the ground beef that you find at the store that's like bleeding, dripping, gushing neon red before you realize like, oh, maybe I should know a little bit about where like my food is coming from. So I think it's really important on both sides. I mean, I think it's great for, people in the ag community to have that direct relationship with their customers and, be able able to sell directly that way. And I think consumers want that too, just for the sake of, they know that they want to know that their feed is not having any soy or having any antibiotics or any of that weird stuff that, for so long nobody even questioned or knew about. But so that's amazing. I really love that. And then I guess, at the local on the local side, when people like you actually talk to people, I mean, what seem to be the biggest concerns from folks, looking to purchase, meat directly from you? Or like, do people just tend to have like, what are the general concerns people kind of have about the food that they're eating in general?
When we talk with, local people, of course, we're in the middle of beef country. So, there's a lot of awareness, I guess you would call it here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, we have, North Platte's around 25,000 people. So there's still a lot of people that don't. And so we hear a lot of, well, what do you feed them? Is it organic? And a lot of people don't recognize much more than like non-GMO or, no steroids, no hormones.
Right.
But, the quality of feed that goes into them is important too. It's important to have a good processor. So you're getting the cuts that you want the way you want them. And that's a lot of what we want to get to people. We want to have a good quality pork chop, not some skinny little thing. We want a ham that tastes good and looks like a ham and, it cuts like a ham and it's real meat. It's not a compressed ball of pink stuff that you slice and put on a sandwich.
Right.
And that's kind of where we go to. And it's funny that you would say about the fruits and vegetables, because we have always raised a big, big garden. And, we can a lot, we freeze a lot, we dehydrate. So we eat really, really well, coming from a farm. And we also, in relationship to that, we feel like it's part of our responsibility as producers to teach the consumer and the consumer's children to know, green beans don't come out of a can from Walmart. Somebody's got to go out there and grow them, and then they get processed. And the same with, we have our own chickens, so we have fresh eggs. We grow our chickens and we have eggs. And so breakfast at our house is wonderful. And we just feel that there's a lot of uneducated people, not stupid, just uneducated as to where their food comes from, whether sourcing it, whether it's even in the United States that it's coming from. And the more aware you are, the better choices you can make when you go to purchase your product.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think that's one of the most important things that was going to be my next question, actually, because I know it can be difficult. People have a lot of misconceptions, and like, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there in the popular media talking about that, red meat can do this, and like, eating bacon can do this, or pork and is this.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you kind of grapple with that? I mean, what kind of things do you take to make sure that you're doing a good job with consumer education? Obviously, if somebody comes and talks to you at the farm, that's the most direct way, naturally. But what other channels do you take to make sure that you're putting out truthful and like real information out there for people who might be interested?
When we did our website, we put the what about us on there, and we've told the same story there. It's important to us to continue that story with our kids. They help. We anytime we post on Facebook, we always relate back to this is a good product, and it's good because this is how we do it. And so we try to reiterate that message, as often as we can. Not every time we do that, but on Facebook or the the website, in person, we do advertise a little bit locally, just in our little town. But and it's surprising that when people call us, they've talked to so-and-so and they said that you do this. Do you really do that? Yeah, we really do that, because we feel it's important that you know what you're getting. So we just feel that that's an important part of your marketing, not just your product.
It is a really important part of your marketing, especially when you're selling direct like you are, because, one of the biggest things is going to be obviously in your recurring business. I mean, somebody is buying this for themselves and their family. It's a commodity. They're going to be buying it probably weekly or at least bi-weekly. So, being able to have, again, like that direct interaction, that trust through those different types of channels is really important. So it's amazing that you're doing that. And I guess tell me a little bit about, I know you said you partner with a marketing agency. That's awesome. I think this is a very like kind of new experience for a lot of ranchers and people in the ag community to kind of take to doing online selling. I think a lot of folks are, getting into that for the first time. So what are you kind of setting up as far as, I know you're getting ready to do, the box shipping more, gearing up to that. What kind of channels are you taking to ensure you're driving traffic to the website and, doing proper outreach to the correct people?
Okay. So we've started doing, the Facebook ads, more of a targeted ad. Part of who we would really like to see and do business with is people that have health challenges. They're looking for a meat it's a clean meat. There's nothing like, the steroids, the hormones and all that stuff. But it's also getting their forage and stuff has not got a lot of weed sprays or bug sprays, any of that on it. We've joked about our garden because we don't do a lot of spraying. We figure if a bug can eat it, then it's safe for us to eat it too.
Right.
So when we do that, that's part of it. So we have Facebook, we have our email, sign up for our email, because then if we have a new product or something, we push it out there to people that are already a customer. And then, word of mouth is always the best way to go. And
Yep.
so we have a lot of that too, which helps with the local sales. So that's really most of the lines and chains that we're looking at right now. Like I said, we're just kind of really getting our feet wet. As we're moving forward, we're developing more avenues to look at and go down. Even the butcher tells people, they're really good about, people come to them wanting certain type of meat, and then they will put them in touch with us. So it's really, there's something to be said for small town America.
No, that's 100% for sure. And I think that's kind of where maybe some of the disconnect traditionally with, like people in the ad community selling online is because like you have almost all the resources you need at your disposal locally. And typically I feel like, folks would sell everything they can to, their wholesaler, the grocery stores, and then everything else was just kind of like in their immediate like towns there. Cause like they're very intimate. I know that I grew up in a very small farm town, actually in upstate New York. If you can believe it, there are farms in New York. A lot of people don't know. But yeah, I grew up on a giant apple farm, and it was kind of the same thing. I mean, they sold to the grocery stores, and they did the little farm markets, and all the other resources were kind of right around town. And just more recently, they actually, kind of started selling, in other places too. Like they would people, you can believe it, like people want to buy like apples from like a place that they know, and they've been like shipping nationwide. It's like, it's crazy. But people want that. It's very. I think this is one of the biggest trends happening actually right now in 2024 is people moving away from grocery store bought things and mass produced things. I mean, maybe even not for like ethical reasons, just for their own health reasons. I mean, I think a lot of people were always like looking to buy local for like, the more like ethical standard wise, but I think now people are really just giving up on like, because it's hard to know, as you said, like, people know the non-GMO, non-antibiotic, but when something says organic on it, like what does that even mean? Like the labels aren't even like super clear anyway. So like I feel like as a consumer, like you really need to know who you're buying from to really trust that like what they're doing is correct and and how you want it to be. So it sounds like you're doing a great job at that. So I really appreciate that from a personal side, and I know probably everybody that works with you does as well. So that's awesome. And so I always love to ask this question to anybody that comes on the podcast, which is I know you're still relatively new. I know you said I think you said 22. You moved back to Nebraska, so but even still, 2 years running a business, you sure learn a lot, as I know you know. So if you could go back, I mean, when you started this business, and give yourself any piece of advice to a couple years back, what do you think that piece of advice would be?
Get with a marketing company much sooner. We were not in that arena by trade. I went through veterinary technology school. That's not a marketing degree. And my husband, he farmed for many years, and then his last part with Charlotte's Web. So I mean, he farmed, but it was hemp. So we really weren't gurus in the marketing sector. And that's probably our biggest hurdle. There's a lot of them out there. We looked at several and decided the one that we went with, we controlled everything. It wasn't just a subscription. So we could change everything when we wanted. But that way, if we would have done that, we would have had people doing reservations for orders. Now we're trying to move the meat that we've already got processed, because you can't hold a pig for too long. They have to be processed at a certain weight. And so that's part of the problem we're running up against. Getting our pigs, going, that wasn't horrible. We could have probably done a little slower, but we found some really nice pigs that we like. And so as far as confirmation, what they're giving us, when we've had them butchered, they're giving us the size of pork chop, the size of bacon, the nice hams. And so that part we could do, but I would definitely say our biggest hurdle was the advertising and learning how to do that. We've leaned on our youngest son a little bit. He's really good at doing some Facebook and internet things. And so he's kind of been a little bit of a support system for me to do some of the advertising, because he's good at that. And then we have another son that's helped us. He kind of helps take care of the pigs, and he dabbles in the Facebook. So we're getting there. It's just you kind of learn as you go. And every once in a while you stumble on something that really works, but it's stressful, but it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I
It's
think
a
that's the
challenge.
most important thing, like as far as marketing is concerned. It's
Mhm.
just like there's no silver bullet. I don't care what industry you're in. Like there's no
Right.
messaging that works for everybody. There's no messaging that works for every brand, every industry. The most
Mhm.
important thing is just being diligent with your testing and taking those things that you find work, doubling down on that, and then continuing to iterate and find new things that work. So you can have multiple types of messaging, all of which are effective in different ways. So I think it's good advice for anybody listening. I mean, this is coming from somebody in the agricultural community. If you're somebody looking to start a business, you had an idea, it may be nowhere related, but if you're not a specialist in marketing, be diligent, but seek out the help as well. I think it can't really hurt, and you can certainly learn a lot that way, because it's kind of the wild west, the online landscape
It
with
is.
marketing right now. So
It is.
if you haven't done it or really thought about it deeply in your career up to that point of becoming an entrepreneur, it can be a lot. So no, that's for sure. And I just want to give you an opportunity as well, Mary, just to shout out your website, any social media pages people should know about. If anybody listens to the podcast is interested in staying in touch with you guys, what's the best way to stay in contact with you?
Absolutely. Our website is 15 County Farms, and we've got our catalog of our products on there. Sign up for our email, because that's how we get new products, messages out to people. We also have we used to have a truck garden about 12 to 15 years ago called Hometown Produce. So we have a lot of local people follow that. We have a little website with that, but it kicks people over to the 15 County Farms. We have our Facebook presence, both with 15 County Farms and Hometown Produce. So there's multiple ways, to get to us, or you can just email me at mary@15countyfarms.com.
Awesome. Well, Mary, thank you so much again for coming on. I really appreciate you sharing your story. I know you're early on in your journey, so I want to wish you the best of luck, continued success, and
Thank you.
yeah, just feel free to we'll definitely keep in touch and let me know if I can be of any use to you, or yeah, I look forward to staying in touch.
Absolutely wonderful. Thanks for having me on. I've appreciated it.
Thank you, Mary. Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.